According to radical Democrat Socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, it's better not to be born than to be alive if you're poor. She sent out another tweet last week that we're going to dissect. But even sadder than her callous comments, many of her sick followers chimed in and agreed with her twisted, eugenic views on Twitter. Remember, these people are allowed to vote. I'm David Fiorazo, and this is Christ and Culture. So, in the warped worldview and Marxist-driven ideology of the AOCs of the world, one sees through the lens of class struggle. There are oppressors and those who are oppressed. Now, she recently said it's all about economics, right? When poor and working class people are forced to have a baby against their will and against their ability to provide. Ah, there it is. Eugenics also rears its ugly head here, and we'll get to that in a minute. But last week, AOC tweeted the following, quote, "Abortion rights are a class struggle too. When the powerful force people to give birth against their will, they trap millions into cycles of economic setback and desperation, especially in a country without guaranteed health care. And desperate workers are far easier to exploit." Man, apparently she believes in an unborn class. First, there's no such thing as a right to abortion in the true meaning of the words right and abortion. So in her world, however, a pagan government gives you the right to murder those alive in the womb and to decide which human lives should be allowed to be born and which human lives should be eliminated. Now, if God gives us inalienable rights, beginning with life, then why would it be permissible for man or woman to murder millions of human beings created in his image? Follow the science, the fact of life in a pregnant mother's womb. Follow the truth. If you follow her line of reasoning, however, it can, if you can call it reasoning, then there should be laws against people having sex, right? At what income level do you draw the line against starting a family, against those having sexual intercourse, even in the context of marriage, right? It's interesting, though, by the way, Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger once insisted that married couples needed to get a license in order to have children. That's quite China-esque, don't you think? Well, AOC seems to be implying that for those below a certain comfortable income level, their lives are not worth living. Wow. Now, is the only solution then to murder more unborn babies? How about helping women? How about fellow human beings having compassion, helping these women and their babies? How about that? Writing for Newsbusters, Jason Cohen reminds us that being poor in America is far better than having even an average income in many other countries. He said this, "Per AOC's logic, should poor countries stop having babies and abort all the unborn ones? According to the radical left, this would help mitigate climate change because it would fix the so-called overpopulation problem. So if they keep going in this genocidal direction, perhaps they will eventually be advocating for this." Well, it sounds like leftist elites playing God since they have rejected him. This demonic ideology, by the way, is part of the legacy of Margaret Sanger, who wanted to limit or even prevent black babies from being born. For just one example, selective breeding of fellow humans. Have you ever heard of the Negro Project? Look it up. It's part of our history. It's no mistake that today, 79% of Planned Parenthood businesses, and they're booming, they're in minority neighborhoods. Sanger, who would be called a white supremacist if she were alive today, laid the foundation for this liberal feminist social agenda, leaving millions of post-abortive women in anguish, grief, pain, regret, after Planned Parenthood's century now in business. Young girls in classrooms today and young women in modern culture have been groomed to be God-denying activists. They've been sold lies that sex with no restraints is freedom, and a baby is a problem to be dealt with rather than a gift from God. Like Sanger, who regarded the weak as feeble-minded, progressive elites such as Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Michelle Obama, Elizabeth Warren, Stacey Abrams, and AOC are openly rebelling against their creator. And their followers have also joined the death cult. So forget what you've been told, that abortion is a political issue. Our pastors and church leaders must take the lead on this and speak about this issue because it's literally a matter of life and death. Believers in Christ, don't be deceived by their rhetoric. Are you willing to be a voice for the voiceless? Thankfully, truth will ultimately prevail because the Bible is right and Jesus wins in the end. God bless you and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.